ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने नमः। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, we are successfully studying Bhagavad Gita every day. So we finished 23 slokas in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. So now we are studying and understanding about the Purusha, Prakriti, Purusha. And in the Purusha, Krishna is actually Parama Purusha, he is the Purushottama. So we know very well about this material world, material nature, our body, Kshetra, and Kshetrajna is the soul, and Jnana is the knowledge, and Jnaya is the knowable. So there is Krishna, there is Paramatma, the super soul. Now Prakriti, mainly Krishna is teaching us about the gunas, the three modes of material nature which are born from Prakriti. And then Purusha is the soul and the super soul, Krishna himself, Purushottama. So all these things are actually we are studying and understanding in this chapter. That is the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So in the 12th chapter, we studied about the Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service. So when we serve Krishna with the devotion, with love and devotion, at that point of time, we are actually getting ourselves very, very closer to Krishna. And we will be able to receive Krishna's mercy, and Krishna will be able to quickly deliver us from this ocean of material miseries. When we are able to do that Bhakti Yoga, when we worship Krishna as a person in his personal form. But in his unmanifested form, impersonal form, is going to be a very difficult path and very troublesome, and we will meet with distress, and it's going to be very, very difficult path. So that way Krishna is recommending us to just remember him as a person, as the supreme person. Because he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. He is the supreme person. So there is a tattva, there is the philosophy we need to understand from Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna is the Purushottama and Krishna is the source of everything. And of course, everything emanates from him. So anyone who knows this will simply worship him. So Krishna is saying that everything comes from me, everything is emanating from me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaga sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. That's what Krishna is saying. Iti matva. Anyone who understands, anyone who knows this will worship me. So bhajante mam. That's what Krishna is saying. So if we know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, then we will worship Krishna. There is no doubt about it. Because we know that Krishna is everything, so there is no confusion. So we can simply worship Krishna and do all the service to Krishna and please Krishna, and we can live for Krishna. We can dedicate our life unto Krishna. So that way our life will be full of Krishna consciousness. Only when we know that, when we know about Krishna, that's what is very important. So we need to know. We need to know that iti matva. Iti matva means by knowing this. So that's what iti matva. I am the source of everything and everything emanates from me. So anyone who knows this will worship me. That's what Krishna is saying. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So now with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we know that Krishna is the supreme God. So we are knowing about it. Because we are getting this knowledge, we are knowing about Krishna. If we don't get this knowledge, we will not know anything about Krishna. So that means we won't worship Krishna. And when we worship Krishna, when we surrender unto Krishna, then we are giving all our problems also to Krishna. When we are surrendering unto Krishna, our troubles are also we are surrendering unto Krishna. So that's why Krishna is saying that you surrender unto me, I will solve all your problems. That's what Krishna is going to take care of. So that's what the real meaning of surrender. The real meaning of surrendering unto Krishna means we are asking Krishna to take care of our life. That's the thing. So we are submitting ourselves unto Krishna and letting Krishna to lead our life. That is the main thing. Instead of ourselves due to ahankara trying to find out everything, ourselves trying to lead our life and struggle and suffer in this material world, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when we surrender unto Krishna, we are submitting ourselves unto Krishna and letting Krishna to lead our life. Then by Krishna's mercy, mat prasadat, sarva dukkhana. So when Krishna's mercy is there, so mat prasadat avapnoti, saswatam padam avyayam. So by my mercy, you will attain the permanent supreme abode, saswatam padam avyayam, the everlasting place. That is Krishna's abode. So if we surrender unto Krishna, if we just do everything for Krishna, so then Krishna's mercy we are able to receive it. That's what in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is repeatedly teaching us in all the chapters, all the slokas. Krishna is always saying that you just surrender unto me. You just come to me. Think about me. Follow me. Study this Bhagavad Gita. Take this knowledge. Understand this knowledge. Spread this message. And become a devotee. Be a devotee. And serve me. All such things. Mamevaisasi tvaivam atmanam matparayana. So if you dedicate your life unto me, if you do everything for me, then you will come to me. There is no doubt about it. That's what Krishna is saying there. So Mamevaisasi. That's what is very important. We need to go to Krishna. We need to go to Krishna. That's what is very important. So our goal is going to Krishna, Goloka. So that means our goal is to please Krishna. So to please Krishna, then ourselves going to Krishna is actually guaranteed. To study this Bhagavad Gita and fully depend on Krishna in each and every activity. That's what is very important. Completely we should depend only on Krishna, not on anyone else, not on anything else in this Bhagavad Gita, in this material world. So in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly saying that if you fully depend on me, then I will take care of you. You don't worry. You don't have to worry about anything. That's what Krishna is saying. So we are getting this knowledge. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that these are all I declare as knowledge and anything other than this is ignorance. So Krishna is teaching again and again. Idam jnanam upashitya mamasa dharmyam agata. So idam jnanam upashitya. So if we take shelter into this knowledge, we'll go to Krishna. And there are many persons in the past. So by getting this knowledge, by understanding this knowledge, param bhuyaga pravakshami jnananam jnanam uttamam. So bhuya eva mahabhago sunume paramam vachaka. So like that Krishna is saying that. Param bhuyaga pravakshami jnananam jnanam uttamam. Yajnatva munayas sarve param santi mitho gataga. So I am teaching you the topmost knowledge of all the knowledge, the topmost, ultimate knowledge. Jnananam jnanam uttamam. Param bhuyega pravakshami jnananam jnanam uttamam. Yajnatva munayaga sarve param siddhi mitho gataga. Just by knowing this, many persons actually they have reached the supreme destination. Yajnatva munayaga sarve param siddhi mitho gataga. So param siddhi. They have reached the supreme destination. That's what Krishna is teaching us. So for us, Just by getting this knowledge, by understanding this Bhagavad Gita, by following what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we are going to reach Krishna's abode, the supreme abode. So, by Krishna's mercy, we are understanding about the three modes of material nature, how they are controlling us, and how we are forced to act in this material way, and how we are forced to commit sins in this material way, all such things. Because Arjuna is asking very good questions. For all the questions, Krishna is answering. Very, very important questions. By what one is impelled to sinful acts unwillingly as if engaged by force. So that's what Arjuna asked. So that's a very important question. Who can answer such question? By what one is impelled to sinful acts unwillingly as if engaged by force. Atakenam prayuktoyam papam charati purushada. Anichanapi varshaya baladivan yojada. And even in the 6th chapter also, towards the end, Arjuna is telling Krishna that Ye tanme samsayam Krishna chetum margasi asesataga tvatanyaga samsayasya chetan nahi upapattiti. So what is the fate of an unsuccessful yogi? When a person tries to control the mind but not able to achieve success, and when that person dies, so what is going to happen to him? That is my doubt, Krishna. Ye tanme samsayam Krishna. That is my doubt, Krishna. Chetumargasi asesataga. I want to clear this doubt completely. Chetumargasi asesataga. Tvadanyaga samsayasyasya chetan nahi upapattiti. So other than you, no one else can clarify these doubts, can answer these questions. No one can answer these questions. So chetan nahi upapattiti. Tvadanyaga samsayasyasya. This samsa, no one can clear this doubt. So only you can do that, Krishna. So swayam eva atman atmanam vetatvam purushottam. You only know about yourself. So you please tell me about yourself. You only can clear my doubts. So please clear my doubts. So like that, Arjuna is asking Krishna. So that way, only Krishna can do that. No one else can do that. That's what we need to understand. That's what the literal meaning is, that Tvadanyaga samsayasya. There is no other person other than you can clear my doubt. So you only know fully about yourself. So that way, Krishna, we are getting so much knowledge about Bhagavad Gita, about Krishna in this Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna asked such excellent questions to Krishna. And Krishna, of course, answered all the questions. Very elaborately, Krishna answered. Even in this chapter also, in the 13th chapter also, we are studying the answers given by Krishna for Arjuna's questions about Prakriti, Purusa, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnana, Jnaya. So like that. And also in the 14th chapter towards the end, Arjuna asks the questions about by what characteristics, by what behaviors I can understand that if a person has already freed from the modes of nature or not. Kailingagi trin gunan etan atito bhavati prabhu. Kimacharaga katam chaitan trin gunan athivartade. So how can I understand when a person has transcended the three modes of material nature? So that's what Arjuna is asking. So like that, Arjuna is asking many, many questions. And Krishna is answering everything in detail. So we are understanding. Even in the 18th chapter also, Arjuna is asking that the difference between sannyasa and the tyaga. Sannyasastu mahabaha tattvam ichchami veditum tyagasya cha rishikeshu pratakesini sudana. So I want to know what is sannyasa, what is tyaga, the difference between them. So that also Krishna is again explaining. Already the sannyasa, tyaga in the 5th chapter itself, Krishna already explains. So Sankhya Yoga, Pratak Balaga, Pravadanti na Panditaga. Both are not different, they are the same. So here again, Arjuna is asking in the 18th chapter also the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. So tyaga means renouncing the results. Sannyasa means renouncing the work, renouncing the activities, duties. So Arjuna is asking questions. So Krishna is saying that yajna dana tapa karma natyajam karyamevatat. No one should renounce the activities which are meant to perform, like yajna, dana and tapa, the sacrifice and charity and austerity, such kind of things. Sacrifice means it's not animal sacrifice. So when we actually, this yajna, so yajna means when we are offering unto Krishna, when we are giving up the attachment to the results. So we are sacrificing the results. So we are not attached to the results. So that's what happens. Dana. Dana means charity. When we do charitable work, so we should not expect anything in return. So that's what is known as charity. And yajna, dana, tapa. Tapa is the austerity. So yajna is the offering unto Krishna. So yajna, dana, tapa, karma, natyajam karyam evatat. One should not renounce these kind of activities because yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishna. Because these kind of activities actually purify a person. So pavanani manishna. So all these kinds of things we are going to gain only in this Bhagavad Gita. Even in the 16th chapter also beginning, Krishna is listing the qualities of a divine person and then the qualities of a demoniac person, everything. So much of knowledge we are getting in this just one book, just 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. If you understand this entire Bhagavad Gita fully as it is, as Krishna is teaching us, so then our life is going to be full of bliss. Then we will be able to come out of all our problems, all our miseries. Because this Bhagavad Gita is the source of all pleasure, enjoyment. The Bhagavad Gita is the source of enjoyment, unlimited enjoyment. In this material world, the so-called sense enjoyment, they are very limited. And also they cause distress. They are the source of distress. Dukkha yonaya. Whereas the Bhagavad Gita is the source of Sukha yonaya. Sukha yonaya means the source of happiness. This material world is actually the so-called egi samsparsaja bhoga dukkha yoni evate. But this Bhagavad Gita sparsaja bhoga, so when we actually experience this Bhagavad Gita, when we are able to get this knowledge and understand this Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita sparsa yoga, so it is actually sukha yoni evate. It is the source of happiness. This Bhagavad Gita knowledge, it's actually the source of happiness. So that's why Krishna says that Ajnascha asardadanascha samsayatma vinasyati nayam lokosi naparo nasukam samsayatma. Anyone who doubts this Bhagavad Gita, who doesn't have this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, there is no happiness. Nasukam samsayatma. Whereas a person who believes in this Bhagavad Gita, who gets this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he is going to get the supreme peace of mind. Param, there is Jnanam Labdva, Param Shantim, Achirena Adhigachadi. So that way this Bhagavad Gita is the Sukha Yonaya. Sukha Yonaya means it is the source of happiness. So that's what, there is no such sloka in Bhagavad Gita, but I'm just saying based on Krishna is saying that Egi Samsparsaja Bhoga Dukkha Yonaya. So this material sense enjoyment, so they are the source of distress. Whereas the enjoyment what we get from studying Bhagavad Gita and remembering Krishna and surrendering unto Krishna, so they are the source of happiness actually. So that is real happiness. That happiness stays forever and we will be able to experience unlimited happiness. So with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that's what we are studying by Krishna's mercy every day and we are making progress every day by Krishna's causeless mercy. So we finished 23 slokas in the 13th chapter. So in the sloka number 23, what we studied yesterday, Krishna said that Upadrishtanumanta Bharta Bhokta Maheswaraga Paramatme iti chayuktaga Degesmin Purushaga Param. That's what we studied. So Krishna is Upadrishta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheswaraga. So like that we studied. So Krishna is everything. So that way he is the overseer, he is the permitter, so all such things. And Krishna also says in the 9th chapter, Gathir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasaga Saranam Sugurtu. So in the 18th sloka, in the 9th chapter, Krishna is saying that Bharta. So there Bharta is actually, Srila Prabhupada is translating that Bharta means it's a sustainer. Sustainer or the Bharta means the maintainer. So Krishna maintains everything. Whereas in the sloka number 23, Prabhupada is translating Bharta as the master. So there actually Prabhu, Kathir Bharta, Prabhu is the master. So Prabhu is the Lord, master. So that way this Bharta means he is the master, he is the maintainer, he is the sustainer. So that's what Upadrishta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheswaraga. Bhokta is the enjoyer and he is the supreme controller, Maheswaraga. And he is known as Paramatma. Paramatme iti chayuktaga degesmin purushaka para. So now in the next sloka, what we are studying in the sloka number 24, what we are studying, Krishna is saying that Yayevam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaiha saha sarvata vartamanopi nasabhuyo abhijayate. Anyone who knows, who understands, veti means who understands. Anyone who understands about this Purusha. Purusha is a living entity, the soul. So it also depends upon in each sloka what Krishna refers to. Sometimes Purusha refers to Krishna also. Sometimes refers to the super soul also. So sometimes here is referring to the living entity. In this sloka, it refers to the living entity. So Yayenam Veti Purusham. So same in the 8th chapter also Krishna uses the word Purusha. At that time he refers to the demigod. So Adibhutam Adidevam. Purushascha Adidevam. That's what Krishna says it. Purushascha Adidevam. So Adidevam means the demigod. So there is Purusha. So there also Purushascha Adidevam. So that way here in this context the Purusha refers to the living entity, the soul. So Yayevam Veti Purusham Prakritim cha Gunaiga Saha. So Prakriti and also the Gunas, the three modes of material nature. So all of them actually, anyone who understands all of them, even though he is engaged in all kinds of activities in this world, he is not bound by anything. He will not take another birth in this world. So Nasabhuyo Abhijayate. He is not going to come back again to this material world. If you know this, if you know that we are not the body, we are the soul, if you understand about the three modes of material nature, they are binding us in this material body and they are forcing us to act in this material world, all the activities. So if we just know that, if you understand it, so then we are going to be freed from this material world. We are knowing it. We are understanding it. By Krishna's causeless mercy. So when we follow this Bhagavad Gita fully in our life, so by Krishna's mercy, we'll be freed from this material world. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished the sloka number 24. So one who understands this philosophy, Krishna is saying that one who in the 13th chapter, one who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. So that way, Krishna's mercy, we are understanding, we are getting this knowledge, we are knowing about Krishna. As Krishna said that Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvadaga Tyaktva Degam Punarjanmanayeti Mameti Savarcham. So if we just understand about Krishna's transcendental nature of Krishna's appearance and activities, so then after giving up this body, we will not take another birth in this world because we will reach Krishna. So that way we are getting ourselves ready to go to Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we are actually getting ourselves closer to Krishna. The more and more we study Bhagavad Gita, we follow all the slokas taught in Bhagavad Gita. So then that means we are able to connect ourselves with Krishna and we will be able to go to Krishna as well. Hare Krishna. By Krishna's causeless mercy, we have finished this sloka number 24 today. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.